do pest control? What's the craziest shit you've ever seen? Alright. I get asked this question a lot, but you're not gonna believe this. Dude, I am all ears. Tales from the Crawl Space. Show about everything.
Greetings, boys, girls, and cheese bags everywhere. It's your old pal Jack from Tales from the Crawl Space podcast. And sitting across the proverbial desk from me is not Brad Harvey, because Brad's on vacation. It is our good friend from Nova Scotia, Rodney Bruhm.
Hello, eh?
Man, I've been looking forward to have you on the show. Me and Brad had talked about
This is
saying,
great.
hey, if we ever need a guest host, man, he's the guy.
I'm telling you, Brad's shoes, I'm not physically sure of the size of his shoes, but they're pretty big shoes to fill.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. He might have tiny feet. I really don't know, but they're still big shoes to fill.
And I'll tell you, I reminded Brad today. I was like, "Look, man," I said, "it's going to be a great show tonight. Rodney's fucking awesome." I said, "But there is no replacing Brad."
No,
So
you can't
that's
replace Brad.
No, you can't. But I'll tell you what, and he's going to be doing a show with a guest host who is yet to be named the third week of October, because I will be in Myrtle Beach meeting cheese bags at Scotty's Beach Bar on the 19th at 9 p.m. And so he's going to be doing a show, and I think he's got somebody in mind.
So now when you're on the beach, is that like a toes in the water, ass in the sand kind of deal? Everybody
Yes.
get together and nice.
Well, Scotty's Beach Bar is right on the beach, but I'm actually going to be sitting right there near the bar because I don't feel like having to get up and walk all the way back up to get a beer. So
No, and then, if you get somebody to serve you, you got to tip them extra. And
yeah, and if you sit down in the sand and you're walking a lot, you get like sand in the cheeks, and it starts,
Yep.
I don't need like my sandpapered taint. That would just.
I mean, listen, you'd save on razors if you're into that sort of thing.
You would. I mean, that would kind of. Yeah,
Yep.
it's like nature's nair.
Rub it right off. Just rub it right off.
Do you remember when they had the Epiladies back in the late 90s? It was like a coil on a little metal hoop, and it was powered so it would twist super quick, this little spring coil thing. And women would rub it across their body, and it would just like rip the hair out of you.
So like automated tweezers.
Yeah, it's like a big, tightly packed spring that rotated so fast it would just grab onto the hairs as you passed over top of them and just rip that shit out of you.
I'd try it on my balls just to see.
Oh,
I really would.
On your balls. I tell you, that would really make it difficult for you to dispense any Good Boy gravy.
Yes, and that's a very important thing to be able to do.
Yes. I mean, that thing down there's got two purposes. One of them's peeing, the other one's for Good Boy gravy. So
that's right.
I don't want to be fucking up the works.
No, you do not. You do not.
But talking about fucking up the works, let me get something out of the way first and foremost, because I am a forgetful motherfucker, and I will forget. But I want to let you know that because you are being a guest host, I'm going to get our illustrious Tony Spangler to make a Tales from the Crawl Space Tony Spangler tumbler just for you.
Amazing.
But I want to show off my Tony Spangler tumbler. This is a custom one that not everybody gets. This is the Penis Tony Spangler tumbler.
Penis.
With yours truly, kind of yours truly. It's me, but it's not me. But yeah, close enough. And an unknown, I know who it is, but an unknown person that says, "Yay, I love penis." And if you look, there's a vein right there. That's how much detail you get on these Tony Spangler tumblers. Now, I'll tell you something. Speaking of Good Boy gravy, I don't have a problem with my urethra. So these do come safety sealed for your protection. This is the stainless steel urethral sounding rod, medical grade, with a little cleaning brush, which is good for both cleaning out the straw and cleaning out your urethra.
And the urethra.
So you can slide this puppy right up in that jounce. And it'll clean you out nice. And when you want to get the detritus, the debris out, once you've gotten all that stuff out with this, you're just going to follow up with the brush a little bit.
Just give it a little extra.
A little bit of elbow grease to take care of your penis real good.
Yes, sir. A little spit, little elbow grease.
And
you
they
might
got
be displaying some Good Boy gravy.
That's true. I tell you, some of them sounding rods. I tell you, and it's like a fucking cannon with this hollow tube. You
Yep.
start dispensing good boy gravy when you got this tube up in the thing. Man, I tell you, it's like 50 cal type. Pow!
Yes,
You know,
sir.
so
Yes, sir.
now these are stainless steel on the inside, double walled tumblers. Your stuff stays cold all day and all night. This thing kept ice for me like all day long. I made it in the morning. I was out working the garage all day long. Had ice in it at 7 o'clock that night. And I don't know, I got so much in it. Can you see the rubber bottom?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
I do love the rubber bottom. I do. I can't help it. So, well, my friend Rodney, tonight's show is a show about everything. What I asked for was I think every pest control technician has one go-to story when someone goes, "Oh, wow, you're in pest control? What's the craziest shit you've ever seen?" Everybody's got that one preloaded story at the front of the brain that they're ready to dispense at a moment's notice. Like, this is my fucked up story, and I'm really going to get their attention with this one. So, yeah,
It's 15 minutes of fame. It's like,
It
this is
is.
my time. I have everybody's attention. They want to hear some fucked up shit.
That's exactly what it is. So that's what I asked for. And we got so many fucking stories. I think me and Brad next week are going to have to do a second episode just to get all the stories. So look, if you submitted a story and we didn't get to it tonight, it's not because we forgot you. It's because we got so much shit, we're going to have to make 2 episodes out of
There's
it.
going to be a part deuce.
Part deuce, that's
Part
correct. Now look, a listener and a frequent submitter to the show, Mr. Sancho said, my first German roach clean out, I sprayed them rectangular kitchen lights with the buzzing long light fluorescent tubes in it with CB80. Literally within seconds had a waterfall of roaches scurrying all over me. I stood still because I was in complete shock. I could still feel the antenna tickling my ears as they crawled down my neck. Some on my shirt front pockets, I shit you not. I swear I felt it right on the crack of my ass. And then today he wanted to throw a little something extra in there. He goes, I just wanted to add that after my baptism in a roach waterfall, my pantalones are in fuego and solidified my love for pest control. That's a baptism by roaches.
That is beautiful. Now, can you imagine some of those roaches, unbeknownst, made their way into the cracks and crevices of the pants?
Oh.
And then you go and get in your service truck, and it's just this crunchy, warm, just
what kind of wiggles itself up right there on the donut, you know? I mean,
That
you're driving home and something's crawling right across your donut.
Yeah, especially with the antennas tickling you down there. I mean,
yeah,
that's a taint tickler right there, brother.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. That's just, my butt crack. I tell you, I had a job like that. One of the service managers that I worked with for the Big Green Tea. His first name's Bob. Great guy. We went to Bowie, Maryland, and had this house. The story I told a long time ago about the picture of Jesus with a beard full of roaches. We were at that job. So in the truck on the way back, I mean, they were clouding above our heads and dropping off onto us. There were that many of them. So he was sitting there in the truck, and one comes walking right out from under his collar. And he's like, I'm like, holy shit, dude, you okay? I thought he was having like an epilepsy episode or something. He's like, ah! I'm like, it's a fucking roach, man.
Calm down.
Goose fraba.
All right, let me bring one up here. I've got one, and it doesn't say to go anonymous. So I'm assuming we're just gonna rock and roll if it doesn't say.
We are.
Anonymous.
We're rock and roll with the names. If somebody has a problem, I can always go back and edit it out.
Perfect. So this comes from Eric Morel. Hopefully I said that right. And this one goes as follows. A rental property that already had dead bed bugs littered throughout the carpet from 2 years prior, if you can imagine. And then me doing a treatment again for bed bugs where I literally killed thousands. And the people living there were playing whack-a-mole with them and squishing them on the walls. All of the edges of all of the beds were completely discolored from the bed bugs. I could have grabbed a Sharpie and played connect the dots on the walls.
Oh man, I've seen that, and people will like, or they'll like mush them on a piece of paper and circle them and say, "Here, this is what I found."
Can you identify this for me?
Oh yeah, once it's like turned into like cherry applesauce or whatever. This is a. Like, what is this? Can you tell me what this is? I fucking hate that, man.
I love the whack-a-mole part. That's incredible. Just slamming them. Just
Oh,
slamming them. Can you imagine to have that many in the carpet from previous treatments? Like how little are these people cleaning? That there's that many in the carpet. That there's it just.
it's like it's like walking out of a movie theater with all the popcorn and shit on the floor.
Right.
Fucking disgusting. Vacuum your floor. Borrow your neighbor's. I mean, you can get a cheap one at fucking Big Lots.
Yeah. It doesn't take much. It doesn't
No.
take much. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
But if you're happy to just, I mean, come on. If they're all over the place, if I could say it, if they're all over the place like that, and you're still staying in the fucking. I mean, how can you sleep at night?
I can't imagine if there's that many, like to be able to get cozy in bed and not feel hundreds of them just fucking ravage you every night, like all over you, neck,
Oh, I'd have the oogies just.
No, thanks.
Now look, I went to a hotel in a pinch because a storm was bad and the power was out, and it wasn't quite a no-tell motel, but it was close.
Yep.
And I was sitting back on the bed, flipping channels in the TV, and I felt a little tickle on the hairs of the back of my neck. Turns out it was a fucking bed bug. And I checked the mattress. There were none on the mattress. The mattress looked brand new, but most of those hotels, they have that little metal bracket and they just hang the headboard on the wall and it's not attached to the bed at all. I pulled that motherfucker off the wall and all behind that fucking headboard were bed bugs. I'm like, motherfucker. Because I checked the bed. What the goddamn went on there? They were all waiting for me behind that fucking headboard.
That's why a deep investigation is so important with bed bugs, man. Like you gotta be turning shit over on the walls and looking, right?
Yep.
Like everywhere.
Oh man, when I used to do hotel rooms, we'd pull the headboards off, all the furniture, they'd pull all the drawers out and flip the furniture upside down for when they countersink for the screws in the frame of the furniture.
Always.
You gotta find the eggs in there and shit, man. We'd toss the whole damn room. And this one Hampton Inn, this guy, he wouldn't even drag the mattresses down the hallway. He'd chuck them out the fucking window.
Fuck this.
That's
Dumpster
right.
fire. Light it on fire. Fuck this.
He'd have a maintenance guy down at the bottom, and he'd be up the top. He'd unscrew the anti-suicide screws on the window, and then just cram the fucker out the window, and then they drag it to the dumpster. He's like, I'm not dropping these fucking things all over the hallway.
No.
Which I don't blame him. I mean, it's a great way to do it. I wish I would have seen him actually toss one out of like the 6th floor window. That'd just be fun to watch.
That would have been cool. It just it hits, and 100 bed bugs just go.
Oh, it's like that. You ever seen that video where the guy cut down that old rotten tree, and when it hits the ground, this fucking raccoon comes shooting out of it?
Yeah,
It'd
just
be kind of
like that.
All right, we'll get Michael Covington said, I seen a German roach job so bad that they were in outlets on the wall and on the ceiling, on the other side of the house and apartment, and through it, thousands upon thousands of dead ones. And again, we're back to sanitation.
Right. Oh, 100%. 100%.
I mean, I've seen some places like townhomes and stuff where like you're at the mercy of your neighbor's pest control situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've seen people get roaches whose houses are so clean you could eat off the floors.
Right.
But you get some nasty motherfucker lives next door and they're coming in through that shared wall where the pipe chases are.
It only takes one hoarder unit, man, and everybody's gonna get it. Everybody's gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know in DC, there's a very ritzy Hilton in DC. I'm not going to label which one it is because there's a bunch of them. But what they would do if they had a room with a bed bug problem, they'd shut down that room, the room above, the room below, and the room to either side of it.
Smart.
All of it. Everything on that side of the hallway, above, below, and on either side would get shut down for a month.
Oh, wow.
Because we do the initial treatment. We'd go back for a follow-up treatment in 1 week, because back then we didn't have apprehend and stuff like that. So we
Right.
used stuff that took more than one treatment.
Yeah.
And then for the next 2 weeks were follow-up inspections.
Yep.
So they'd shut down a total of 5 rooms for a month. And I tell you, for that building, that's a lot of fucking money you're leaving on the table.
But you think of it from the aspect of that, kudos to the management and the owners of that, because that's how it's fucking done.
Oh, agreed. I
That's
totally
taking
agree.
shit- that's taking shit seriously, right? Like that's what you want to see, really. Not like, fuck, it'll be fine.
They're like, we don't want to see this again. But I got to tell you, sometimes bed bugs are the rich man's pest, because it's the travelers, the transient people. I mean, sure, you get homeless people that end up getting them coming from shelters and stuff, and that's horrible.
Yep.
But
Yep.
you also get a lot of, people who do a lot of traveling and have some money that end up bringing them home. I've done some ritzy fucking houses with bed bug problems.
Yeah. And I have as well. And I've done ones that were like Airbnbs. So somebody goes and the Airbnb is fucking spotless, but somebody brings their stuff, leaves it there for a couple of days a week, and leave. The next tenant comes, or the next renter comes, and it's like, you got bed bugs.
Oh, God.
Luckily, in that amount of time, it's usually pretty quick to fix up, right? For the most part, right? But hey, listen, a lot of times in pest control, it doesn't matter, the amount of money you have or your living conditions. You can still have shit go on, and you can be the cleanest, richest person in the world.
Oh, that's for sure. Pests are non-discriminatory. That's for sure.
No, they are not. I'm really excited that I got this one, Jack.
Okay.
This is from Sue Yang. Wow. Had a real old lady, like 70 plus, have all of her ... toys laid out one by one next to each other on the bed. I came downstairs and she asked if I had seen anything. I said, no, ma'am, and left quickly.
I think that was a hint. That was a hint, man. That was a hint.
Now, if there's an invite, that's an invite.
Yeah, I mean, she almost rolled out the red carpet for that one.
Lucky she had clothes on. Lucky she had clothes on, to be honest.
Lucky for everybody. When I was working for the one company, I will say the name of, because there are absolutely no flies on this company. They are the best damn company I ever worked for. It's Tomlinson Baumberger. When I was doing a route for them, this didn't happen to me directly. It happened to a tech that I was buddy with. I took care of this job. Great customer. Got back in the truck, and I had like 12 messages and 4 missed calls and a video. And he's like, and it's like, dude, I can't get you on the phone. You got to look at the video. So he sent me this video, and I posted on the depot years ago, and I don't know if it's still up there or not. But he's going through the basement with his phone, and you see a nice workbench. The guy loads his own shells for like trap shooting or whatever.
Yep.
You see a couple rifles there. You see some old suitcases for traveling down the road. Then you see they built an addition. So they had this crawl space entrance cut into the cinder block wall to get under this addition, right? Okay. Just inside the addition was a big old dildo still in the package. And the woman was home by herself, and apparently she'd been giving him right. And so when he goes up, apparently he's like, all right, ma'am, took care of everything. Did a thorough inspection. She goes, did you check the crawl space? He's like, yes, ma'am. Yes, I did. Did you find anything? No, ma'am. Everything looks fine. Are you sure you didn't find anything? Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't find anything at all. But the video I got, once he gets to the dildo, you see a thumbs up.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'd have that thing out of the package. I'd be wailing it around. I'd be taking fucking selfies with that and sending it to everybody. You'd be getting a selfie of that. You know it. I'd be like, Jack, look what I found. It's a rubber fest, right? Like, check this shit out.
That would go on the main page of the website for a while.
Yes, sir.
Honest Rod and in an honest rod.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. I've actually got my own quick little story, if that's all right.
Of course.
Okay, because we were on the bed bug thing for a minute. So anytime I get asked, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen? It's not actually the amount of bed bugs that was in this hoarding unit. Mm-hmm. So we're talking like a 60-unit apartment complex. And there was about 5 units that just nobody could get rid of the bed bugs. Well, there was this hoarding unit that I went in. I was like, ma'am, we can't properly treat this unit because I can't see your walls. I can't see your floor. Hell, I can barely see your ceiling in some places. I don't know how you shit because there's a whole bunch of Coca-Cola stuff on your toilet. Like, are you shitting in a bucket or you're shitting outside? I really don't know. Anyway, she was so upset from this that she was catching and collecting her bed bugs in pill bottles. And this is why they were getting so bad in the building and going up and down the hallways and releasing them under doors.
What the fuck?
No word of a lie, brother. No word of a lie.
Wow.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Did she get evicted for it?
Yes, sir. Sure did.
And
well, because
security deposit back.
I witnessed her doing it. And then I was, man. And the guy that was, of course, door knocking with me and whatever, he was right down the hallway. And I'm like, Roger, what's that crazy bitch doing? Check that shit. What is she putting underneath the doors? And she was trying to spread them through the rest of the building. Like, oh, brother, this is not good. Not good.
Yeah. My go-to story isn't really, it's pest related because I was on the job. And I've told this several times on the podcast because I'm retired. I don't have any new stories to tell. So that's why we love you listeners giving us new stories. But mine was the one where I was doing this rodent clean out in this apartment complex. And I knocked on the door, pest control, and there's no answer. So I get the key, get the door open, crack the door just a little bit and go, pest control, still no answer. Open the door all the way and there's this chick on the couch, butt ass naked, leaning back, leaning on the couch. And she's got one leg cocked up showing the whole business, right?
Mm-hmm.
This 80s style type glass coffee table sitting in front of the couch. And it's got a pile of weed and a pile of Coke. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, pest control? She goes, do you want something, honey? And I said, ma'am, I'm not sure what's one of the 3 things you're talking about, but I'm going to have to pass.
On all fucking 3.
That's right. I got to tell you, because her boy howdy looked like someone attacked her with a garden weasel.
It looked like the insides of an Arby's roast beef sandwich. Eh?
The beef and cheddar. That's a throwback to the very first season, the Arby's beef and cheddar.
Oh, shit.
But that's the story I tell.
I'll never eat one again thanks to that. Yeah, thanks to your story, Jack. I'm never going to Arby's again.
But that's my go-to party story because everybody's like, oh, shit. I mean, come on, you got weed, you got Coke, you got vagina. I mean, she had this wonderful sanctuary of drugs and nakedness and beaten up Arby's beef and cheddar.
I mean, what's not to draw you in? Like, just.
I think if I got closer, there could have been like some black hole-ish type force that would like.
She could have started growing horns and some shit like that. That was some serious shit going on there. Let me tell you.
It's like the insult when you're a teenager where you'd have to strap a 2x4 to your ass to keep from falling in. It's like that. So. All right, we got John McCormick said, maybe not crazy, but funny. We live on an island. I got an order for a giant blonde spiders. Thinking garden spiders, the customer mentions them coming from holes in the ground on the sand dune. When I explained they were crabs and I asked if it was the first time for them at the beach, it was.
I mean, still segmented bodies, so I can see some similarities, but yeah, that's a bit, yep. That's the equivalent of somebody saying, "Hey, do I have roaches?" and they hand you a baggie full of belly button lint. That would be the equivalent,
Now,
right?
I got to tell you, someone who'd never had pests before, they had box elder bugs all over the outside of their house. Now,
Yep.
if you don't know one bug from the other, the body shapes are very, very similar to roaches. They're jet black with that little red line on the back. So
Yep.
it'd be like, oh my God, I got these black roaches on the outside of my house. I'm like, not roaches. But
Yep.
I could see where that mistake would be made. So.
Right. Actually, on that fact, we have around here, we've got what we call wood roaches.
Mhm.
So they look very, very, very similar to a German roach, but they're mainly outside. They don't really come in the house, and they're not afraid of light, right? So that's the big thing for them. They'll just sit there and kind of stare at you when you shine a flashlight at them. So that's a pretty good tell, right? But
Yeah.
I've had a lot of calls where somebody said, "I've got roaches on my balcony." And I'm like, it doesn't seem quite right. And I go and I pick it up. It's just a wood roach. You're fine. They're a little bit smaller,
Mhm.
but hey, like you say, it looks the same coloration, funky ass antenna and stuff like that. So yeah, that can happen. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about crabs and spiders, but hey.
Yeah, I'd tell you, I'd have to go to when I go to the beach. I might just have to go get some blonde sand spiders when I go to the beach, Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Start digging up some blonde sand
A little bit of
spiders.
little bit of melted butter, some Jo spice. Because if you put Old Bay on your crabs, there's something wrong with you. It's Jo spice. That's what you put on your
Gotcha.
crabs.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
how about you do the next two because that first one's a little short.
Yeah. So the next one is an Adam James. I did a rat exclusion and trapping for a schizophrenic guy. Place was a disaster.
I've seen it with people that have mental illness, and it's sad to see people living with a
Yeah.
mental illness
Yep.
with no one to support them.
Yes.
And the
Yep.
place is a mess, and they have pest issues because sometimes they're fighting their own demons to the point that sanitation really isn't priority in their life, and it's
No.
sad. It's
No,
sad.
it is. It is. And I mean, luckily, there's a lot of places around that will actually give assistance for people in those situations. So at least they have, I know in my local town, there's an organization that will come and sit with you for a few hours and at least make sure you're doing okay. I think
Right.
that guy needed somebody to sit with him for a few hours, right?
Yeah, but if you don't have anybody and you got no one to look out for you, you left to your own devices, and
You can talk
sometimes
to
that's
your
what you get.
exterminator. Talk to your exterminator for
Yep.
sure.
No, I had an old guy that the only reason he had me to come over was to sit around and have a cup of coffee with him and talk to him.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I'd spend anywhere from 30, 45 minutes to an hour
Yep.
drinking a cup of coffee, talking about life, the universe, and everything.
Yep.
And I'm like, you sure you don't need me to treat nothing? He goes, no, keep the place clean. I don't go nowhere. I only go from the bedroom to the living room. I don't need nothing. I'm glad you come by.
Yep.
Best service of the day.
You're right. That would be one you would look forward to going
did.
and doing,
Every
right?
time.
Like you're
Every
like,
time.
you see that on your schedule. You're like, fuck yeah, it's gonna be a good day. All right, this next one is from Travis Cuck. I am hoping I'm saying that right. That I don't have a lot of sympathy for capable adults who just live with roaches. Like their pets, but the second children are involved. It's all bets off. One that always comes to mind is a home I treated, and this little boy, maybe 3 or 4, was watching what I was doing as I pulled out the fridge about 75 to 100 German roaches run. He's in a diaper and barefoot and just starts stomping on them and counting. He gets to 10 and just starts to shout, "I killed 10, Daddy! I killed 10!" All I could think about was the rest of the house will look like, and the fact that nobody was fazed by what just happened. Kind of broke my heart that he was that comfortable. Yes, sir. Yeah. And in pest control, you see that a lot, especially if you're doing the big buildings and like you say, you knock, pest control, and then 3 kids come to the door, they're 9, 5, and 1 in diapers, and you're there to treat roaches, and it's filthy and it's gross and there's roaches everywhere. And you're like, the fuck are your parents, man? Why are you home alone?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
Oh my God. Yeah. It's heartbreaking. It really is. And that people will allow their kids to live in that type of squalor.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
I don't care if I was panhandling on the corner. When I got home, I would make sure the place was clean for my baby, for my
Oh,
child.
100%. 100%, brother. 100%.
If it took me stealing napkins from McDonald's and spitting on stains on the floor, my ass would be down scrubbing.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
wow.
I mean, McDonald's can afford a few napkins anyway. So
yeah, fuck them. It's McDonald's. I mean, their hamburgers last 20 years in some dude's pocket. They can spare a couple napkins.
I would say so.
Let's see. We got Derek Drakulik. I hope I'm saying that right. If I fucked up your name, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. He goes, found a dead body in a bathtub. The guy died taking a bath, and I was the lucky guy to find him a week or so later. Oh, he had people soup.
Wow. That thing was rancid and blowed right up, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, I had the old lady who her mom was putting lotion on her face in the bed. And the host that we had at the beginning of the show that came before Brad had the one that was fat and bald and apartment full of packages and stuff, and they found him face down, ass up, dead, buck naked. So he was like, donut, right there.
Fuck.
So yeah, but in the tub, it's people soup.
People soup. Yes, sir. People soup.
Grab a ladle and a mug, man. I'm ready. It's lunchtime, motherfucker.
Can I take a minute to do a special one?
Please.
All right. let me just bring this up here now. Where are you here? The one, the only, the honorable Mr. Brad Harvey.
Good. All right.
I was pulling into Wheeler Mission in Indy. I'm assuming he means Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. I was pulling into Wheeler Mission in Indy. Right behind me was an ambulance. We both pulled in at the same time, but I was quicker than them getting my gear and heading in. When I got to the stairway to go down to the kitchen, there he was, covered in a blanket, blocking the doorway to the damn stairs. I took off my hat, said a little prayer of forgiveness, then threw my gear over the body, grabbed the doorway, and leapt right over him. I apologized to the director later, and all he could say was, "Did you hit the pantry real good?"
Priorities, man. Priorities. That's priorities. Come on.
Oh, Brad, I love that one. I love it. Love it. So good.
See, Brad still put his stamp on the show. That's awesome.
Right? I can just picture Brad right now, just welling himself up, bag over the fucking shoulder, and just taking a leap of faith over this corpse and saying, "Fuck it, I got a job to do, boys." And just...
That's right. Neither rain nor snow nor a dead body.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic.
Let's see. We got Cara Beliveau. I think that sounds like a Cajun name. If it's not, it's still an awesome name. Cara Beliveau said 3 dead rats in a basement that were partially submerged. So we went from people soup to rat soup. And she said this was only last winter. So sometimes when you get to those jobs, a year later, you still get that little whiff every once in a while. Like you could be in a Yankee Candle shop and smelling all the neat little smells and stuff, which I fucking hate those sort. I get a headache.
Me
but
too.
just the same, all those scents, and it'll just hit you. Dead rat. It's like your brain's been storing a little pocket of going, hey, how about this?
You'll be walking along grocery shopping with the family, and you'll just stop dead in your tracks and be like, "You guys smell that?"
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, "No, what are you talking about?" You're like, "Oh, that's a dead rat."
Oh, have you ever gone to a friend's house or somewhere that you're not on the job and you're not even supposed to be looking for it, and you walk in and you go, "Oh, there's roaches in here." I can fucking smell them. There's roaches in here. And you kind of keep it to yourself because you're not like, hey, nice party. Good to meet you. Love your kids. You got fucking German roaches. You don't want to do that shit. You just kind of keep your mouth shut and go, fuck out of here. Don't get near the kitchen. Don't do nothing.
Don't sit on anything. Let's just, say hi and make our exit.
When we get to the house, everybody is undressing in the garage and putting their clothes in a trash bag. That's what we're doing.
Fucking garden hose.
I'm going to read this little quick one sentence one. You get the one after that. So Jeff Langle had said, and I tell you, it worked out for him. Follow your dreams, kids. He goes, I dreamed as a boy I'd be an exterminator. Live out your fucking dreams. Good deal, Jeff. You got Jeff. Hot damn. Live out your dreams, buddy.
Love that, brother. Love that. Love that. The fact that he's sharing that as his story just goes to show you how much he loves the job, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gonna remind people that was my dream, motherfucker, and I accomplished it.
I did this shit. I did it. All right. Haley Hutchins. Oh man, one of my stories has made it to the podcast, but a feed store with a roof rat issue. Had a BB poo-poo. Had a BB pew-pew. They carried around on their forklift. While I was 3 racks up inspecting their ceiling space above the feed store, I found a rat in a bag and had them to bring me the weapon. They said it was loaded and I was ready to send it to its maker. Lever action, one type, pew! Rat is eating. I lined it up, pop, was primed, not loaded. I didn't get the rat, and I was livid. Cussed at them for handing me an improperly loaded weapon.
Well, fuck yeah, man. You're all excited about getting ready to pop a hole in that motherfucker, and all you get's like...
In the pest control world, especially these days, the chance to rock around like fucking Rambo with a gun doesn't happen much anymore.
No.
You'll get lucky and you might get some bird calls and, you get to go plunk them out of the rafters. But that would have been a beautiful... Can you imagine she got that shot, had the thing by the tail, took the big hunter's picture, and rifle over the fucking shoulder, right?
Like on a safari type of thing.
Yeah, that would have been great. I shot the motherfucker dead, right? Would have been beautiful. There's
a YouTube channel of a guy in England that does just that. He has like the, have you seen him?
And I watch it a lot.
Some of it's like infrared camera, and you can see him. He's like pop, and they just drop. Man, I'm like, oh, that'd be the best job.
Oh man, the rifles that they use, some of these guys, are fucking incredible, but they're like $3,000, right? Yeah. I'd love to have one though.
Oh hell yeah! And you don't want me bringing what I got in my case to take care of rats because there won't be a rat left to pick up.
No. It'd be like this one time I went hunting with my dad, and we were hunting for rabbits, and a squirrel was going up the tree about, maybe 20 feet in front of us. Here comes the 410 with birdshot over my fucking shoulder, and he said, "Don't move!" Bang! Puffball and a tail. That's all that was fucking left of this thing. Yeah, one of my favorite hunting stories of my dad. Love it.
Now, I've never had the chance to pick birds out with a BB gun on a bird job, but I have been on Avatrol jobs where they just drop out of the sky.
Well, that'd be cool to watch.
They just kind of, I mean, they get a bite of it and they're feeling good and kapow, and just that stuff's rough, man. Avatrol, I think it's like cracked corn with zinc phosphide or something.
Oh shit! So it's it's the rodent dust.
I think that's what, I'm not sure if don't quote me because I haven't checked the label on it for longest time, but I think it's something like ZP on cracked corn.
Wow. So, that's some dangerous shit, bro.
They don't last long. They don't last long at all. Because for those who haven't used it, zinc phosphide, when it gets into your body, it turns the oxygen into phosphine gas in your bloodstream. And kills you instantly. like 1 tablespoon. They make this stuff stink like the worst garlic. I love garlic. There is no bad garlic, but the way they make this stuff smell, it's like someone shit on garlic, lit it on fire, and put it out with diarrhea. That's how this stuff smells. And it's like the worst garlic stank you could smell
Yeah.
in this stuff because it's a white powder. And dude, if it didn't have a smell, you could go to a damn carnival and sprinkle some in the powdered sugar for the funnel cakes and kill an entire nobody'd know, and you'd wipe out a whole thing full of people. So this stuff is stanky for a reason.
I've never actually used the stuff myself. I'm not even sure if it's available in Canada anymore, to be honest with you. I don't think it is.
It's the Skull and Crossbones label.
I think it's been axed from what we can use, just probably because of misuse. It's like, oh, look, there's a wall void that rats are getting in. Let's just blow a bunch of this ZP in there and fucking kill everything, right? And meanwhile, it's frolicking back out onto the boxes of Kraft Dinner that we're gonna sell to kids. So yeah.
I did a shake and bake with a pack of cheap hot dogs and a Ziploc bag, and I cut them into like 1-inch sections and put it in the Ziploc bag and put a couple spoonfuls of that stuff in there and shook it up.
Yep.
And put it in these burrows under this big, huge silo for Rubbermaid. Because they have these big silos with the plastic that they used to make like the trash cans and shit.
Okay.
And they were burrowing under the silo. And I came back first thing early the next morning, and man, there was like 20 of them dead all over the place. They tore that shit up and they didn't last long.
No, and they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
That's good shit. It's really good stuff. It's fantastic. I mean, other tracking powder is just not the same.
No, it isn't. I mean, the only tracking powders really that we use in Canada is literally just tracking powder. So I just carry some talc powder with me, and that's what I use if I want to see where they're coming in and out, right? So
right. But they got like dye track. You don't have dye track up there?
We do. I've just never bothered with it myself. That's the stuff that turns their shit fluorescent, eh?
The dye track stuff, it's a tracking powder like ZP. I don't know what the active ingredient is, though, but when they get it on them, since they groom themselves and each other, they end up ingesting it because they get it on the fur because they're all oily and greasy. It sticks to them. So when they clean it off, they ingest it and it kills them. It takes a while to work as opposed to ZP, but it's acceptable. It's okay.
I don't think we have that either, to be honest with you, because the only thing we have that even sound remotely like that was literally just like a feeding block, but with a fluorescent in it, so that when they ingested it would turn their piss and shit, so you could track them with a black light. It was literally just for tracking. Like in Canada, we're so restricted to what we can use that it really does make certain situations like yours at the silo. It would make it so much harder because we really are not supposed to put anything down in burrows here. We're really not. Yeah. So it's like come out of the hole so I can kill you kind of thing.
Well, I'll tell you, if you ever get a chance for a burrow just for shits and giggles, you can buy these on Amazon. Have you ever used a giant destroyer?
No.
It looks like a gigantic firecracker. But it's like a sulfur bomb. It doesn't blow up. It just smokes. Has a fuse on one end. You stick that thing in the burrow, and I tell you, if you can't find the other 2 exits for the burrow, you'll find them once you light that fucker and put it down there. You'll run everything out of there.
We get something. We are able to use something similar here for like ground moles and stuff like that. So it's like you say, it's like a big firecracker. You throw it in and then kind of cover it over and see what happens.
Yeah. The sulfur stinks, man. But I tell you, if you keep them locked in there, like if you stomp the holes closed on the burrows, they'll suffocate to death in there.
Yeah.
It'll do it quickly too. But man, that sulfur, you can't get that smell out of your clothes.
No, I bet not. No.
Right. Okay, so we got Shane Downing says, I always tell people about putting birds to sleep and coming back later to snap their necks. Always get a good reaction out of that one. So he does. He's like that guy from Jigsaw. I'm not just going to kill you right off the bat. I'm going to let you go to sleep and rest for a little bit. Then I'm going to come back, snap your neck.
Then I'm going to fuck your shit up.
That's right. I'm not telling you when I'm coming back, but I'm coming back.
Yeah. That I worked with a guy, amazing guy for bird work. Mm-hmm. And we went into this It was above an apartment, so it was like a small attic. It was like maybe 3.5, 4 feet, but there was openings in the gable ends, and like 300 pigeons got in there. So they, you know, a team of us were hired to go in and take care of them, and they, you know, everybody was like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to trap them and bring them out alive, right? Oh yeah, yep, no problem, right?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Me and the other buddy were in there just fucking pinwheeling them by their neck. Coming out like Santa Claus with a big black hefty sack over your shoulder, blood dripping out of it at the end of the day. Big smiles, just like a fucking Cheshire cat, right? Yes, sir.
That reminds me of, I had a job a long time ago in Baltimore where a trash can, a mama rat and some babies, well, young ones, had jumped into this trash can to eat the scuzz off the bottom of the can, you know? The mama got out, but the young ones couldn't jump back out. And what I asked the lady to do is, ma'am, I've got to take your trash can with me because I'm not going to, you know, do like I'm stomping grapes here in front of your house.
Yeah.
So, and I was taping the lid on it, and the kid goes, "Are you going to let him go?" I'm like, "Of course I am. I'm going to take him out in the woods far away from here so they can't come back, and they'll be reunited with their mom because they can sense each other by smell. So they'll find each other. They'll be fine." In actuality, I went back to the office, filled the trash can half full of water, put the lid back on it, let him sit all day and swim. Now, it's not Mauschwitz like Brad had. That story fucked me up, his Mauschwitz story. But it was close.
I swear to God, we must be brothers somehow because this is just, it's too, yep, yes, sir. I love it.
Let him swim.
Let's just run the garden hose in there for a little bit. I'll check my fucking emails for a few minutes, and they'll get tired eventually and stop swimming.
That's exactly what happened. I come back to the end of the day, they were gone. So,
all right, we've got John Shop. I'm not sure how I'm saying that, but Mr. John, I was doing a mouse service in a rundown single family, no lights in the basement and very little light coming in through the windows. They had cats, and I could also tell by the stink. Okay. I proceeded into basement with my trusty Stinger flashlight and began to hear crunch, crunch as I started walking. I looked down and shined my flashlight onto a field of fossilized cat shit. Scouts on.
Damn.
Oh, God. I'm so glad I waited to read these now because this is the best, man.
I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in the city of Harrisburg, and this one lady, gorgeous house, older row home, beautiful homes. Some of the older buildings in Harrisburg, absolutely gorgeous. And down in the basement, you know, she had cats, clean-looking cats walking around the house. I went down to the basement, and apparently she just gave up on using the litter box and just would take these big, huge 25-pound bags of cat litter and just dump a pile on the concrete floor.
Beautiful.
And the cat would kind of like, and the cat, I guess he didn't feel like, it's like climbing sand dunes. I mean, you really can't get your foot in it. It's a bitch to get to the top. So he just decided to take a shit around the perimeter of it. So I had like a mountain of cat litter and cat turds all the way around it.
Surrounded by cat shit.
Yeah. So crunchy cat shit. Well, fossilized cat shit. Yummy.
Fossilized crunchy cat shit. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Our beloved Tony Spangler did say there was this one time at band camp. So it is pest control. I mean, did you stick a B&G in your pussy? What did you do?
Be a good plug for the stainless steel urethral sounding rod.
It would, and I tell you, in band camp, somebody must have got some good boy gravy. That's what I'm thinking.
I would say so, 100%, 100%. Probably more than we even want to know.
Yeah, that's a lot of gravy there.
I'm not using a black light in those rooms.
That looked like a Jackson Pollock painting. What that was. Corey Jordan says, this time I rolled up to a house and there was a lady scrubbing the outside of her house with Brillo pads. Target pest? Meth mites. Husband renovated the entire house. Lady tore apart the entire house, going crazy cleaning the bugs away. Husband was ready to divorce if our treatment wasn't effective. Never heard from them again or the meth mites.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm sorry. You seem like with the scab on their face, you're like digging at the meth mites on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine on the outside with this Brillo pad on the outside of your house thinking that's where they're coming from? Dude, they're coming from that rock you got in that pipe. That's where they're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe put down the pipe and things will kind of level themselves out. But hey.
You think? Yeah, really.
Hey, to each his own, brother.
Please step away from the pipe.
All right. So we've got Danielle Whitley. Went in for a service call for ants. Found ghost ants in the master bathroom. Told the old geezer I'd be back in a few. I wanted to see if I could find them outside. Knocked to come back in, and he was in that bedroom, butt-ass naked on the bed, spread eagle with porn on the TV. Not a damn thing I did in there could have given him any impression at all that he should expect anything. And then it's followed up with some puke and vomit emojis.
Well, I tell you, if he's an old geezer, I mean, what has he got to lose? I mean, he's got to shoot your shot sometime.
50-50. 50, it's going to go one way or the other. It's either going to go down or she's going to walk away, brother. One of the two.
The only thing I can say I'm sad about is maybe he did waste one of those little blue pills on the possibility.
Ooh, it's probably expensive too, eh?
Yeah, especially if you're like on like, you know, retirement or Medicare or Social Security. Right. I mean, right. if you're blowing some of your money on that little blue pill, and you know you get a pest control technician said, "I'm coming back." He's like, can you imagine him like, you know, throwing his walker away and trying to like hobble up the steps to get his Depends undergarment off, right, to get on the bed, right, and to like, you know, to like be splayed out like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Dabbing on some fucking Old Spice, you know.
Hey, I love Old Spice. Don't do that shit to me. I am old school. I tell you, I've pulled more loving with Brute and Old Spice than I have ever with Drakkar Noir. So, but it gets the girls with the daddy issues, which
oh yeah.
Richard Rodriguez says, opened an apartment door, dude was dead, slumped over in a chair with the needle still on his arm. Did he do the apartment for Philip Seymour Hoffman, the actor? Because that's exactly how they found him.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Sometimes that hit just...
It's the only thing that matters. It's like putting down that pipe.
Yeah, it is. Step away from the needle.
Step away from the needle. Step away from the needle. You know, we're actually getting a lot. You know, I'm kind of rural, small town. We're really starting to get a lot of that fucking used needles everywhere.
Oh,
bus stops, parks, playgrounds. Like, so I went ahead and what I did is I went to one of the... Because I was starting to find them. Because, you know, you're on your hands and knees. You're setting up bait boxes or you're looking for ants. And you're like, fuck. I almost kneeled on a used needle. So I went to the pharmacy and I got myself one of those Sharps containers. And I keep it in my truck. So anytime I come across a used needle for whatever purpose they were using it for, it goes in the Sharps container. Because I don't want no damn kids in my area getting poked with any hepatitis A, B, C, D, or E.
Right. For sure. No, and that's you're doing good work doing that, man. I mean, when I was in Baltimore, I mean, you'd find crack pipes hanging in the chain link fences. Some of these store owners would like put little chain link fences in the alleys between the buildings so people couldn't, you know, trying to keep people out.
Yep.
No, they'd climb the fence, they'd, you know, tear themselves up on the barbed wire, and they'd hang their crack pipe in the chain link fence, you know, save it for later.
That's a mess.
So,
that's a mess. Man. That's a mess.
Baltimore was full of that, man. Full of it. We got, I think this could be the last one we do here, so we can wrap the show up here shortly. We got Tasha Avery Lippert said, had a property manager call to book a bed bug inspection. When I contacted the tenant about the bed bugs to schedule, she said, oh, and did they tell you about the roaches? I said, no, just the bed bugs, ma'am. She said, oh, honey, I got so many damn roaches. They steal all the food off my plate before I could even eat it.
Wow.
Sure enough, the place was completely infested with bed bugs and roaches. Everywhere you looked, there was movement.
Ouch.
Now, I've seen roaches stealing food off the table. I've watched an Australian roach in Florida at the Spice Worlds factory, the place that does like all the minced garlic, the jars of minced garlic.
Yep.
I watched a big Australian roach drag a full bulb of garlic across the floor.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Well, them Australian roaches are no joke, man. Them things are big.
Yeah.
Them Australian ones, yeah, they're huge. I guess you don't have those up there. They come in on shipping containers, but they're big.
No.
I've seen a big, huge German roach drag a chocolate chip cookie across the floor. And I'm like, if that motherfucker can drag that, he can have it.
I'd be down there with my camera fucking videoing this shit. I'm like, this guy gets to live. This is amazing. Like, that's a fucking TikTok right there, brother.
That's when I was at military school. First of all, cell phones weren't a thing.
Right.
And, but the good thing about that was there's no cell phones to record all the stupid shit I did. So, you know.
Very true. Yep.
Can you imagine the next generation of politicians? They better be seriously on the up and up because there's going to be video documentation of every stupid fucking thing they've done for their entire life.
Right. You know, this generation now, they don't get to shut it off. Technology, videos, you know, surveillance, it's all 24/7 now. It's everywhere. So, yeah, like you say, keep the fucking nose clean because that shit'll resurface when you're going for mayor, brother.
Man, there's some countries, I think, somewhere in Europe. I don't know if it's England or where it is, or Ireland. I'm not sure where it is. I know it's over in Europe. They've actually got these cameras that monitor vehicles and the exhaust they put out, and people are taxed by the exhaust their vehicle puts out. So there's been these people walking around with sawzalls just cutting these things down on the street corners.
Fucking right.
And they're like the Robin Hood of the neighborhood. No one does anything to stop them. No one's complaining, but the guy's like, and just pushes it over like a fucking tree and walks down to the next one. And people are like, yay! Because they're taxing people because they're fucking exhaust. In these poor neighborhoods where people don't have the money for a nicer or a newer car.
Right.
So you're sticking it to the little guy just because you can. Fuck
just
that.
Because you can. Yep. Actually, you're going to see that in Canada soon. Our whole emissions and climate stuff is just getting so fucking out of this world. That's what you're going to see next is, you know, they're going to stick something up your fucking tailpipe. Of the car, I mean.
Yeah, some people got excited there for a second.
Yeehaw! Viewership just went up.
Something going in your tailpipe. Well, Tony Spangler already beat us to the punch with the B&G, so there's that.
This is true. This is true. Bless you, Tony Spangler.
Love you, Tony. Well, I'll tell you, we've got a shitload more stories, and we're just about up on our hour. There's a few things I wanted to talk about before the end of the show, but first of all, Rodney, it's been fucking fantastic having you on the show, man.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you so much for having me. I love this shit.
We're definitely going to have you back on, that's for sure. There's no question about that. And I also want to let everybody know to glove up for Candace. She's been recovering slowly but surely. That woman took a hell of a beating. Her body just didn't agree with her, and things went south. And she's clawing her way back. So good for her. You can't keep that chick down, Candace Renee.
Good.
So glove up for Candace. Next week, we're going to be, if we didn't get to your story tonight, don't worry, we didn't forget you. And if you want to go back to that thread and keep submitting more stories, that's great too. Keep on giving us some more. I know some keep popping in. I got notification today that there's been a couple more posts put on it. So next week, Brad will be back and we will do a show about everything, part deuce. And I think Brad has got JT working on a special jingle for our Tony Spangler advertisement. So that ought to be pretty good. Little Tony Spangler tumbler jingle.
Believe it or not, there's nobody home. I like it.
It has something to do with Peyronie's and Tony's.
Ooh, yep. Mm-hmm.
If you got Peyronie's, come to Tony's Spangler tumblers or something like that. So it'll be awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, on behalf of my good friend Rodney and myself, Tales from the Crawl Space, the Pest Control Humor Depot, our favorite group, all you cheese bags, and if you're not a cheese bag, you really should get on Facebook, go to the Pest Control Humor Depot, and join. Tell them Tales from the Crawl Space sent you. You'll get a free pass straight into the lobby. So, on behalf of everybody, we want you to glove up for Candace and bug off.